Okay, good. So now that you're done signing the consent form, we're going to look at the demographic survey. And as I said before, this just has some basic info about you.
Do I have to say this out loud or?
Oh, you don't have to. You can just go ahead and fill it out.
Okay. Well, I'm not done with college, so.
Oh, I believe that was this number's like $82,000 something.
Okay.
Thank you. So you're done with the demographic survey. Let's just start out about. Let's just tell me about yourself a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to be a junior next semester at UGA. I'm an intended business major, so, one of them. Either MIS, even though it's the most competitive and I'm not really sure if my GPA is up there yet. Marketing, and if all else fails, economics. I'm a history minor. I'm an older sibling. I like drawing. I'm not sure. Is that enough about myself?
Yeah, that's probably good.
Okay.
I just was wondering, just in case your major or anything had to do with environmental stuff.
No.
So was there anything do you have a relationship with environmental things, or do you like that kind of thing?
It's one of the areas of science that I actually like. I subscribed to National Geographic, so they talk a lot about the environment in there. But I was just I don't really know if I like science enough to do a science-related degree, but I like the environment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular relationship with solar panels in particular?
No, I'm in high school. I had an AP environmental science teacher, and she would talk about solar panels and other kind of clean energy, but I don't really know anyone who has some.
Gotcha. Yeah, me neither somehow.
Yeah.
Which is kind of strange to think about. But anyway, so let's get right into it. So, have you always lived in Cobb County?
As far as I know, is Cumberland in Cobb County?
I'm honestly not sure. Is that a city, Cumberland?
I think it's a city.
Huh.
I've always kind of just lived in
the
this
area.
general area.
In the general area.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how your family ended up here in Cobb County?
Well, my dad is from Nigeria. He moved here, went to Kennesaw State College. It wasn't a university then. And my mom is from Louisiana. And she just went here because the Atlanta area was new and exciting. So they just kind of stopped here at the same time.
Did your parents meet? They met
here?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So was there a reason that both of your parents ended up here? Did they like it for some reason or anything like that?
According to my mom, she didn't like it, but she decided to stick it out. I don't know why my dad came here, but he did. So I'm the only person in my family who's actually born and raised here.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was not born here. I actually moved. I was born in Connecticut, but I was only 2 years old, and then we moved down all of the eastern coast, basically, state by state. Then we jumped from Connecticut to North Carolina somehow, and then moved down to South Carolina, and then to Georgia, and then I've been here basically since middle school in this county, in the same house for it's been 10 years almost at this point. So yeah, and we live in a 2-story standalone house. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about what kind of house or what kind of home you live in?
I've never had to describe my house before.
That's all good. Take your time.
There's 2 floors and a basement. Very small backyard. It's yellow. I don't know what the types of houses.
Yeah, I understand. Is it it's just a house?
It's a general
a 2-story house
shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it it's just your family lives there, right?
Yeah.
So it's a standalone house. Okay. So we're gonna start talking about solar adoption then. now that we know a little bit about where you live and where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have rooftop solar on your home?
No.
I don't know anyone who does, so I'm not that surprised. So, since you don't, can you tell me why you don't have it? Or did you make that decision, or was it made for you?
It was made for me because I was raised in that house. I don't know. We just didn't do it. Maybe because of, like, knowledge. Not really sure what it entails, so.
Right. So you don't own the house. You're like,
no.
You're just a non-homeowner living with your parents,
I
yes?
just live there, yeah.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived there?
Since I was 4, so since 2002.
2002? Okay, cool. That is way longer than when I moved here. I don't even remember 2002 anymore. Anyway, let's see. Do you know how your parents feel about solar power?
I mean, I think they have, like, that general idea that it's a good idea, but not good enough as an idea to ditch what they know and do something that they don't know. Especially since I don't think that they know anybody who does solar panels either. So that's, like, a risk.
Gotcha. So just kind of lack of knowledge about the subject. Gotcha. If you personally had the option, would you put rooftop solar on your home?
Probably. I mean, it'll depend on, like, how much I make.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about why you would or why you would or why you would not, and what you think some of the pros and cons of having it would be.
I probably would sometime in the future, especially since I know that solar energy is kind of, like, more and more common as the years go on, so it'll probably, like, be a thing more people do. And they last for a while. They're like 20-something years. There's, like, a warranty for them. Also, it's, like, the idea that it's, like, the sun is always going to, well, as far as we're concerned, it's always going to be there.
As long as we're alive, probably.
Yeah. And so that just means, like, you know, abundant energy all the time.
Right.
And so it's just, like, in the long run, it's probably a good idea, especially since fossil fuels are going to run out eventually. And it's not that great for the environment to extract fossil fuels and burn fossil fuels. So, yeah, just clean energy in general. Maybe, like, just doing what you can. I don't really know if it would, like, make a difference if, like, individual people did it. Maybe more like corporations adopted it more. But, yeah.
Gotta start somewhere.
Gotta start somewhere. So I probably would. And those are my reasons for it. It's just, like, it's better for the earth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you think of any cons why you would not want to adopt it?
Cons, I suppose the expense.
Other than non-economic barriers.
Other than, not sure.
The expense is definitely one that a lot of people are like, it just costs a lot, and we don't think about other than that. We're like, well, I guess I would have it. A lot of people are saying that.
It's another con. Expense, but that's not one that counts.
Well, maybe not generally cons, but like cons that would matter to you more likely, like personal cons.
I don't know. I just overall think it's a good idea to have solar panels. So I can't really think of a con.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think there's a few, but I don't know. I also agree with you.
I mean, there's cons to everything. I just can't think of them at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about solar power on rooftops in general. We're gonna look at a map of the U.S. first, and then we're gonna look at a map of Georgia afterward. And if you would, for me, just take your time and draw on there where you think people would have the most rooftop solar energy on their homes.
Like just draw like an X or something?
However you want to label it. A lot of people like to circle like general areas and maybe like labels with some words that come to mind when they think of those areas, things like that, or you can like however you want to label it.
I'm not sure what the weather is like in a lot of the U.S.
That's okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I noticed you circle a lot of like areas, like smaller areas of the same states kind of thing, like here and like, well, not all of California, but it's like parts of different states. Can you tell me your reasoning behind why, first of all, you chose the states that you did?
The states that I did, well, I always considered the West Coast kind of sunny. So there's that. Florida's the sunshine state, so I'm sure they have a lot of sun. I don't know much about Alaska. I know that it's cold and it snows and stuff, but maybe they have clear weather. I don't know. Hawaii, it's an island, so they always have sun for the most part. Well, I live here, so I know that it's sunny sometimes. I don't know what it's like in the southern part of the state. Just maybe the southeast in general. They probably have the same weather. I would have done like all of the West Coast, but I think it's just rainy up there.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh, Texas. Maybe I should have circled all of Texas.
Oh, okay. You didn't mean to just circle the...
Yeah, I was just like going as I did. Yeah.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you meant like, well, I think in particular this part of the state is better with solar panels or whatnot. So, okay, so you didn't like actually mean to like just circle part of it. You're like, yeah, the whole thing.
It was just kind of like, oh
Gotcha.
Yeah, this place maybe.
I thought it was interesting that you circled actually Hawaii and Alaska. No one has done that yet, so I was like, cool. That's really cool. No, that's good. I'd just like to hear, you said just because it's sunny, or do you think of other factors that might have played into the places that you chose?
Well, I think I read somewhere that they have solar stuff in Hawaii.
Okay.
But I might have not, maybe I'm not thinking about the same thing. But maybe. I don't know. It's sunny in Hawaii, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? I don't think it's as sunny in the New England area.
Probably not. I mean, it's not as hot, at least.
Granted, people have solar panels in places that aren't particularly sunny, but I don't know.
Why do you think that is?
Like, I know they have like a big solar panel thing in like Germany. I read that a while back. And I'm not really sure how sunny it is in Germany. I think it's not always that sunny in Germany. But I don't know, maybe it's just like the fact that they like put in the effort to do it, so they have like excess energy, so it doesn't really matter if it's sunny or not. I don't know. I don't know much about science.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And also I know that they have like the wind energy stuff in the Midwest.
Right.
So it'll probably just be reserved for that.
Gotcha. So, why do you think, what makes the communities that you did circle so different from the people in Cobb County, do you think?
I couldn't say.
Well, what about something like mindset-wise? Do you think that people in these places think differently than the people in Cobb County, perhaps?
Well, I guess the people in Cobb County are just like generally like people in the rest of the Southeast, so I'm not really sure if that would count. I know that, well, in case of California, they kind of do a lot of progressive types of stuff, so they probably just have like the mindset of like moving forward and doing more different types of energy stuff. So, but that's in the case of California. Maybe that's how it is in the whole West. I don't know.
Okay.
It's the desert.
What about Texas then?
I have no idea.
Just cause.
Just because it's there.
I understand. Do you feel like, what about the people in Hawaii or Alaska then?
Well, to be fair, I don't know much about the people in Hawaii or Alaska. They're like in two different places. People in Alaska probably more like people in Canada. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, just like, not like knowledge based necessarily, but like because of your experience like living in Cobb County for this long and knowing people from Cobb County and like having lived here and stuff, do you think that people in Cobb County have a certain mindset about solar power?
I mean, there are a lot of people that I've met in Cobb County who they think the idea of solar panels is good, but I think they also think about like the expense part of it too. So like they know like, you know, it's a good idea, it'd be good in the long run, but am I willing to like drop everything that I already have and then go to something that I don't know somebody who like does it, so it's all like a risk thing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So now that we have talked about the U.S. in general, we're going to get a little bit closer into the map of Georgia in particular. Do you know a lot about Georgia or like other parts of Georgia?
I have to say I don't know much about the southern part of Georgia.
That's okay. Just if you think, just based on your current like knowledge and opinions, just go ahead and do the same thing we did with the U.S. map and draw on there anything, circle or label any words that come to mind, the places where you think that people have the most solar power on their rooftops. Also on the U.S. map, if you had wanted to label any words, that is also still up for grabs.
Yeah, that's it.
Just there?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny because that's where we live, kind of, or like that's part of the area we live in.
Yeah, I think they have solar panel stuff in Atlanta, and if they do, that means they probably have it in surrounding areas too.
Okay.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, does UGA do stuff related to solar panels?
I think that they do.
Yeah. So if they do it, that means people probably in the surrounding areas might do it too. I don't know if anyone does it down here. Probably not. I mean, I think like just like in general, if there's like a major city in your state, they're probably gonna like do it first before everybody does it.
Okay.
And the further you are from like the city, it'll probably take a while for you to also adopt that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do you think that the cities would adopt it first?
I don't know. I just know that Atlanta does solar panels. I'm not sure why they do solar panels. I mean, not like everywhere, but I know that they have some.
Okay.
But I don't know why. It's probably just it could be a science thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting though, because like we're so close to that area too, and like neither of us know anyone who has solar panels.
But I'm assuming.
But we would think that it would be there,
Yeah.
so that's really kind of strange. So I guess considering that is kind of the area that we live in as well, what makes people from, I guess, let's say the Athens or the Atlanta area so different from like the people who are in Cobb County?
I'm not really sure if it would be that much different. We're not that far from them.
Do you think that the community in general is different by any factors, landscape, or just like the people's mindsets in general, or anything, any factors you can think of?
Maybe like demographic wise, it's different. Income wise, it could be different. I just know that like, well, I know we're talking about this area, but like down here, it's a lot of different counties, but not a lot of people live in them. Mm-hmm. So it's more spread out.
Gotcha.
But Cobb County compared to Athens and Atlanta, I think they're pretty similar. Nothing really strikes me as different when I go to either places.
Okay. Do you think that the different communities would consider different non-economic factors just like based on where they live or who they are?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
And why did you think again that they would have the most solar power there in that area?
Mostly, just like in general, big cities tend to do things first before everyone else does them. There's probably like a concrete reason why that is. I'm just not sure.
Okay.
I guess because like there could be like major universities like near major cities, and so if people in the university they like do academic stuff, they're scientists, and so if they say something that's good, they come to a consensus that something is a good idea, then they probably do it. For all I know, they have like solar panels in Georgia State.
Gotcha.
Or Georgia Tech. So.
Okay, so now that you've considered that, what about most of your close friends here in Georgia? Do you know of anyone who has solar on their roof, like just in all of Georgia, not even just in Cobb County?
Well, pretty much everyone I know lives in Cobb County.
Okay.
So
I understand that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, that they wouldn't have it? Or that they don't have it?
Well, it's like solar panels are an investment, but I guess people are just like not sure if it's like a good investment. It's kind of like how electric cars are a thing, but they're not extremely popular because you can always do something that's easier or that you're familiar with. So it's probably the same thing with this. It's an option, but since nobody really does it, then nobody really does it. So it's kind of like at a standstill.
Gotcha. So you're just thinking because it's not very widespread that people
like
aren't adopting it?
You have to like be the first person to do it, I guess. Like if once you do it, then a person will be like, maybe that's an option. And then they'll do it and they'll spread out more.
Gotcha.
But if everyone's kind of waiting for the first person to do it, then it won't happen as quickly.
Gotcha. Do you think that people you know, like, do your friends have different opinions than their parents do about the subject?
I have a friend who doesn't care much for solar power. They think that nuclear power is the better option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I forget the reasons why. Something about lithium, but batteries. I don't know. But they prefer nuclear power.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just one of your friends?
That's one of my friends. I'm not really sure what their parents think, but they prefer nuclear.
Okay. Do you have other friends who have, even if it's not like opinions like pro solar power, do you know anyone who has like are against it or like have strong opinions about solar power in general?
I have like an uncle who's kind of the mindset, don't fix what's not broken, I guess. Like oil and all that works pretty all right for him. So he doesn't really see like the big need to change what already works. That's probably what a lot of people think. I mean, there's the whole greenhouse gases thing and climate change, but I guess if you can't physically see it with your own eyes, it's not a big deal to you. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think politics plays a role at all?
It could, because some people don't think climate change is a thing.
Do you know people like that here?
If I do, I haven't actually heard them say it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you just have the feeling that they would think that way?
There could be some people.
Gotcha. Do you know, like people who you're really close with, do you know that they have opinions towards solar power? Like, whether they actually have an opinion or if they just, like, don't have one at all?
I feel like the majority of people don't really have an opinion, and if they do, it's not something that they would, like, talk about much because it doesn't, like, affect them much, or they don't think it's something that they would, they think it's a good idea, but they probably wouldn't do. probably just like for the reasons I said before. One is a risk. Two, if no one else is doing it, then why should I be the one to do it? So.
Gotcha. Do you know anyone who's had, including yourself, any experiences relating to rooftop solar power or solar power in general?
I think our environmental science teacher brought in a solar panel once just so we could see what it looks like.
That's cool.
So that was cool. But beyond that, I've never really seen, I don't know if I've seen, once I've seen them on a building. I'm not sure if it was a house. It's probably a building. I've seen that before. I can't remember where. So that's the other place I've seen them.
Gotcha. And did you have an actual experience with it, or did you have feelings toward solar power at the time, or that you think of now and think, oh, I want this or something?
I mean, it was on a drive, so we're just passing through. So I pointed it out, and then we all looked, and I was cool. And then we kept on going.
That's kind of interesting that it was almost like a tourist thing, oh, look, there's a solar panel, it's so rare, you don't see them much. That's kind of sad, though.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Was that within Georgia?
That was in Georgia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Were you guys traveling somewhere
outside
of Cobb?
I think we're just driving. I think we're trying to go somewhere, and it was somewhere we hadn't gone before. So we're just looking at the directions, and then we kind of took different weird routes, and we saw that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Could you maybe outline for me some characteristics of, since you only know people who don't have or who haven't adopted solar power, do you know any characteristics of those people in general? How would you describe them?
I guess I'll describe them like my environmental science teacher, because I know that she had an electric car, so probably just same type of person. Probably know a bit about science.
Oh, who do adopt or who don't?
Do adopt.
Okay.
They probably have a passion for it. That's probably the main thing. I can't see if you're into science why you wouldn't do it, especially if you know the pros and how they more or less outweigh the cons of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think people who are not necessarily interested in solar power would go through the trouble of looking at pros and cons?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that makes sense.
If you're if you pretty much have the idea that you're against something, you're probably just gonna stay against something, especially if you think it's the right idea.
Yeah.
You wouldn't probably go through the efforts to try and find out, so what are actually the pros and cons?
That's true. What about people who don't have an opinion about it? Do you think they would go?
I feel like people who don't have an opinion are more willing to see the pros and cons of something, especially if they don't really have a really strong stance one way or the other.
Gotcha. What about characteristics of people who don't adopt in the state? Whether it be just not people who are necessarily against it, but even people like you and me who just don't have it.
I guess a domino effect. If one person does it, more people will do it. But I guess it's they don't really want to change what they know. I guess. They know it's a good idea as a concept. But I guess since nobody really sees solar panels, at least where I live, it's not like they can see it in action.
Right.
They know what they know from newspapers or the news or something.
Right. So it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
It's kind of an abstract concept. I've never seen one of those wind turbines things. I've never seen one of those in real life.
Yeah, neither have I. I think maybe passing through somewhere.
So I guess people who don't see solar panels, they don't really think about it as often. I don't really think of wind turbines as often.
Right, that's true.
I never see it, so I never think about it. So people are probably that's a good concept, but they don't really think about it after the fact.
Right, but do you think that people who live in conditions that would have, like, for certain alternative energies, like people who would live near places where it's windy, like, would think of wind turbines more, or like people who live places where it would be beneficial to have solar panels would think of it more, like that particular energy in general?
Probably. I guess, like, if you live in a place with wind turbines, of course you're gonna, like, say, of course you're gonna, like, think that, like, that's a thing that people do, and it's better for the environment because it's always windy wherever they are. Or, like, people who, like, live where places do hydropower because they, like, maybe, like, live near a coast. I guess if, like, you think something's gonna be a good idea, you might consider it more. I don't know.
Gotcha. Do you know any more reasons why you think that people in Georgia would be reluctant to implement changes here, like, in relation to solar power?
I mean, it could just be a stereotype, but I just think that people in the South are reluctant to change really anything. I mean, Cobb County could have the MARTA system, for example, but since we don't really want to change it. So, yeah, if something works, or even if it doesn't work, if it's just been like that, I mean, there's not going to be a lot of people who put in the effort to, like, make it different or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a source to that mindset? Just, like, historically, I guess, or something like that?
I don't know.
Okay. Just, like, people seem reluctant to change here, and I don't know what that's about.
I guess it could be like, well, if it worked for my parents, it'll work for you. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think it's a result of people just being, like, less open-minded, or is it more of a thing where, like, people don't care as much?
It could just be, like, a traditionalist thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sense. Okay, I'm just going to go through and make sure I've got everything. You did very well. I think that was really good. Were there any particular reasons that you or your parents did not adopt solar power on your rooftop? Was that just that they weren't informed or something like that?
It could just be like they weren't informed. Also, it's like the first house they moved into together.
Gotcha. Oh, so you're still living in the same house?
We're still living in the same house. Before it was an apartment, and I don't think that was even a concept in 2002. It's like, hey, we should do solar panels.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
But they didn't think about it, like, throughout the course of living there?
Throughout the course that we were living there, they probably just still never, like, considered it.
Gotcha. Well, I think I have everything I need, but thank you so much for talking to me today. And yeah, it was really great to hear your views on solar power. I had a great time, personally. If you have any concerns about your participation in this study, you can contact me at any time, or even the project lead, which I can give you the contact info for if you want. Also, do you want a copy of the consent form? Because I can give you one if you really want it. Okay,
it's fine.
Okay, we're all good then. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I've never been interviewed for a survey before,